What's up, gang? Ghost Prodigy here, and welcome back to Dark Souls 2 is not a bad game, you just suck at it. The series where I teach you how to get good at Dark Souls 2. In our last episode, we got finished with the Forest of the Fallen Giants, picked up the Fire Longsword, one of the best weapons in the game, and we finally finished leveling up ADP to level 20. And now we can finally start leveling up Dexterity, Strength, and get our damage going. And now we can finally move on to the second level of the game, Heid's Tower of Flame. So let's get right into it. But first, we had some unfinished business at the things Betwixt, and no, it's not with the Grams, but with Shrek. If you guys remember at the first episode of the series, I told you guys about Shrek up here. And now we're back, and we're back to take his ass out, because inside his booty hole is a really good ring that we freaking need. And all you have to do is, same as the other, or his little brother Shrek, is just stand behind them cheeks as he tries to sit on you, and that's pretty much it, man. Just clap his ass up, and here he drops the stone ring, which decreases enemy poise, and it's gonna be very helpful for some upcoming areas. Go ahead and equip that, get rid of the life ring, and now we're ready to continue. Heid's Tower of Flame has two paths to take, the hard one and the easy one. And in order to make this game easier, we need to take the harder one. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to fight these giant old knights, which are possibly the easiest enemy in the freaking game. Super slow, super telegraph, and you can basically dodge all their attacks by strafing to the right, as you just saw me do there. Don't worry about the white knights sitting down, they do no harm right now. Instead, focus your attention to the giant mace-wielding old knight, which is, you can easily dodge his attacks by rolling towards the right. The only real attack you have to worry about is this giant swing, which does have a huge arc. But again, if you just stand behind him, you should be alright. And now, why is this the second level of the game? These enemies seem a lot easier than the Forest of Fallen Giants, and the reason being is because if they do hit you, they're gonna do massive freaking damage, and if you come here really low level, they can honestly just one or two shot you. And killing this knight is gonna spawn a lever right behind him, which is gonna be a huge help for the boss coming up. So if you want to make this game easier, which I assume you do, you pull the freaking lever. But that's if you want the easy path, and like I said before, we're going to be taking the hard path, and standing in her way of the hard path is going to be that sleeping giant red lizard. So we traverse on forward to this really cool arena where you must 1v1 this ultra great sword wielding old knight, which is possibly even easier than the guy with the shield. I mean, look at this. I'm not even rolling. I'm literally just walking behind him. Really, this guy is going to trigger the other two old knights to come at you, and all you have to do is walk back this way and go and pick up this item over here, which is a Lord's Talisman. Then you walk down over here to this corner and pick yourself up a human effigy and a soul of a nameless soldier. And then all you have to do is just stand on these steps. Get these guys to move on over here towards these steps, and now they can't hit you because of the elevation. They literally just cannot hit you. And it's a really funny way to fucking cheese these guys, which are gonna die pretty easy. Again, all you have to do is strafe to the right, and then you can dodge all their attacks. Easy peasy, nothing to it. Moving on forward, back to the 1v1 arena is where the path splits into two. You could go the right side, which is the easy way, or you take the left side, which is the hard way, which is where we're gonna go. You wanna go ahead and step into this little patio out here, or whatever this is, and then the Heid Knight is going to get up, which is the white dude, and the old knight's going to come at you. And this can be a really tough fight, because the Heid Knight is going to be doing a lot of damage and is a super fast enemy and can possibly kill you in one or two combos. The old knight is just the old knight. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't do a very good job here of separating them, so instead I just ran all the way back while throwing fire bombs at this Heid Knight and trying to weaken him as much as possible and take him back down to these steps where the elevation is in my favor. I missed so bad with that firebomb, but luckily I have throwing knives and I'm still just chipping away at his health, making it more easy to take him out. 1 hit, 2 hits, and he's out. And then we're back here to where this guy can't hit us. So funny. And watch how I'm fighting this guy not being locked on. Why? Because if you remember from the last episode, I have way more control over my character and its moveset. And I'm just able to maneuver him, get behind him a lot easier than if I was locked on, where the camera would be locked onto him, and then you have your camera battles, which I think are stupid. Just unlock. That's all you have to do. And now we go back to the hard path. And up here is going to be the toughest Heid Knight in the whole area. But we ain't no pussies, and we're going to take this bitch on. Now, I will be careful with him because he hits so freaking hard and has a different moveset as he wields a spear compared to the other ones that wield a longsword. You can do what I'm doing and just chip damage him as much as possible. He does have a lot of hyper armor and poise and can just stun lock you into a tornado of death. So, especially with that move. But if you do it, get yourself a backstab. And then, don't be greedy. Retreat. Get yourself back to full health. Because like I said, this guy hits so hard, he can literally stun lock you and kill you. He has such a cool moveset too. But with 2 R2s, he's taken care of. And up here is one of the hardest freaking runs you're gonna have to do. And I suggest that as soon as you turn that little corner on here, just run straight for this freaking wyvern. And make sure you don't get caught by the fire, because if you do, that's a one shot and you're dead. But honestly, this guy is not hard at all to fight once you get onto this platform that he stands on. Hopefully you get past the fire, and then all you have to do is just chop his freaking ankles and dispose of him the same exact way we did the last giant. It's a super easy fight, the hardest part being running up to him and getting to this point, which a lot of people have a hard time with. I don't know why. I mean, it's just so simple. Just run at him. You get the Watch Dragon Parma, which does also increase item discoverability, and the Petrified Dragon Bone, which is an upgrade material that you can use to upgrade boss weapons. Now, I do go ahead and equip the Watch Dragon Parma because I thought what it did was give me more souls, but that's not what it does. Instead, it increases item discoverability, like I stated before. So then you walk up the drawbridge, and to the left is going to be 2 really cool items. You get the Old Radiant Life Gem, which is a big version of a life gem and will heal you over time for a longer period than just a normal life gem. And pick yourself up 5 human effigies. And then I start the prep work, which is just me equipping some more of the bigger life gems in my toolbar just for the, just in case. I might need it, I might not need it, I don't freaking know. But you want to be prepared. And then we go ahead and get on with it. And oh my god, it's Ornstein, the old Dragonslayer. Because he used to slay dragons in the old times, back in the Dark Souls 1 days. And this boss is honestly not hard at all. He's super telegraphed and easy to dodge if you just dodge to the left like you see me doing here. He does have a different moveset than he did in Dark Souls 1, which is really cool, a nice little refresher. And right here, I got a little bit overconfident. I got a little greedy, and that's where I messed up, because I should have healed there. And I didn't. And because I didn't, and I kept thinking to myself, I could beat him, it was too late by the time I wanted to heal, and he freaking gets me. So don't get greedy, guys. Learn from my mistakes. If you need to heal, just freaking heal. Which is okay, because it allows me to show you guys the run back to the boss. Not hard at all. I literally get into 0 engagements, and I'm freaking just walking for the most part, and then you can get yourself your rematch. And so after quickly retrieving my souls, which is 6,850, not too many for at least this area of the game that we're at right now, but it's still a decent amount of souls. You just, roll to the left and take this guy out. Again, do not get greedy like I did. For this jumping attack, you want to roll back as soon as he slams down on the floor. I rolled a little too early right there, and he got me. I will say that that lunging attack has way more range than you think it does, and the way to dodge it is to either dodge to the left or dodge to the right. I don't know why he was taking way less damage there. You can stagger him like I just did there. There is no repost, but you can also parry him if you want to try and do that. And yeah, straight and forward, easy boss fight. Remember not to get greedy like I did before, and you should have this one in the bag. GG's Ornstein, GG's. So we do end up getting his soul so that we can later trade him for his boss weapon and the old Leo ring, which is an old ring from Dark Souls 1 that we're going to take a look at here. It strengthens thrust weapon counter attacks, which is pretty good for a certain weapon class that we might end up using a little later. But then you want to go ahead and walk over to this side of the castle and pick yourself up even more rewards for a tower shield and a cleric's parma. The tower shield being a really good shield early on if that's what you like to do. If you like to be a Wings Redemption and just hide behind the tower shield like a little freaking bitch. Otherwise, you can't talk to this guy. He's just gonna send you away. Your faith is not high enough. At least mine isn't. But if it is, you could join his covenants. And this is the covenants where you will be a blue, and if somebody gets invaded and they are in the other covenant, which is the one back in Majula that we joined on last episode, you will be called to help them and defend them. And if you kill the red invader, you will be rewarded with the reward, which you can then come back here and give to him, and then he will give you in-game rewards. I think he gives you a halberd and a shield depending on how many invaders you help dispose of. Back in Majula, we do go back to the Immortal Herald and start leveling up our endurance, get that up to 12, get our strength going up to 20, dexterity's at 12, 7 levels, pretty solid for 26,000 souls, and now we're a little bit stronger. And now I'm gonna head over here to the homie that is a merchant. He sells a bunch of armor and also some weapons, and basically the more armor and weapons you buy, the more his inventory expands. And so I go ahead and buy a helmet and some of the stuff that he has here. I actually really do like this helmet, the Falconeer helm. It just reminds me of like the Greek armor helm. I don't know, it's not exactly the same, but you know, it has a similar style and I really like it, so I end up buying it. And before I head back to the High Tower of Flame, I go ahead and pop a human effigy to restore my humanity and restore my HP bar to the max. And go ahead and equip the Falconeer mask or helm, which just looks so freaking good. Like, we're freaking rocking and rolling with this shit. Look at our drip, bro. Like, this shit, man, this shit goes hard as fuck, boy. So, back to the High Tower of Flame, and now we can take the easy path. And I will mention something that I actually haven't mentioned before, and I feel like it's really important to do so. In this game, enemies don't infinitely respawn like they do in Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring. What happens instead is if you kill an enemy 5 times, he will permanently stop respawning, which is pretty cool if you want to clear out a whole area and are having a hard time with the boss run backs or whatever. You can just kill each enemy 5 times and then they will stop respawning, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Remember that you can block attacks with your weapon, but be mindful of stamina because it does take up more stamina to do so, opposed to blocking attacks with the shield. And after killing this guy, remember that that lever right there did pop up last time and we did not pull it. If you did, good for you. If not, go ahead and pull it now and watch what happens. Boom, the boss fight just got easier because now the boss arena has been expanded, giving you a lot more room to dodge and roll and do what you have to do to defeat that guy. You don't have to fight these guys. You could honestly just run past them straight to the right to the next boss. But I like fighting them just because they're super easy and it's fun. I like fighting these guys. It's like, I don't know, they're so easy to fight that it sort of makes you feel good after just defeating all of them. Like, it's just like, man, I'm good at this game. I don't know. I like doing it. And then all you have to do is run past that Heid Knight. Not going to be aggressive. And past this other Heid Knight, which is guarding an item that we cannot pick up at the moment. And then you can go ahead and kill this guy if you want. If not, you can just go ahead and walk in the fog wall. I like killing him like I said, this guy's actually honestly the harder of all the Heid Knights, just because like, dude, his moveset is like super like delayed and unorthodox. I don't know, it's kind of hard to get the timing. And then go ahead and heal yourself up to 100% and into the fog wall. And here we shall meet the Dragonrider, not the Dragonslayer, the Dragonrider. I know it gets a little confusing. Now there is a super easy way to cheese this guy where you don't even have to do anything. He just sort of like falls and trips like a fucking fatty, like Wings of Redemption or Boogie's 2988. His fat asses. Why the hell do I keep... Whatever. Anyways, I don't like that method of doing it just because I think it's super cheesy and freaking lame. And it's mainly like a speedrun strat. You can look it up yourself. Just look up Dragonrider cheese or something. I don't know. I think it's stupid. I don't like it. And it does nothing for you to improve upon this boss fight, because this is going to be a repeat boss fight already on in the game. And it just does nothing for you. Like, it's better to just learn its moveset and realize that he's actually not that hard to fight. And get better at the game, because ultimately that's what we're here for, man. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to do, is to realize that Dark Souls 2 is not a hard game, and it's actually pretty freaking fun and pretty freaking easy. So after defeating him, you are gonna also get his soul, which we can later trade on for his boss weapon. But then, oh, what's that? The Heid Knight stood up? That's right. So after defeating him, all the Heid Knights in the area are now gonna be aggro on you all over the map, which is why we went and took out the Dragonslayer first, because if you would have taken out the Dragonrider first, you would have to have fought all the Heid Knights and all the old Knights all the way back to Dragonslayer, and it would have just been way harder. So although that was a harder path to take in the beginning, it would have been even way harder if you would have taken this path and taken out this boss earlier on. But then you could go ahead and pick up this thing that he's hiding and pick up the Ring of Binding, which is a ring that reduces the amount of HP you lose when you die. Go ahead and continue forward, where you will find the second bonfire of the game. Go ahead and light it up, rest at it so that you can come back here anytime you want, which honestly, the only real reason you might want to come back here is if you don't speak to this NPC that's sitting right next to the bonfire. She is like a clergywoman or something like that. I don't know. She sells a lot of stuff. What you want to do is just exhaust her entire dialogue so that she moves on from this area and goes back to a closer area to Majula. And then you can go ahead and take a look at her inventory. She sells a Cleric's Charm, which is used to cast spells, the Ring of Prayer, which increases your faith stat, and then all of these, you know, typical faith spells, Lightning Spear, heals, you know, stuff like that. And if you want to do faith, go ahead and do this. I'm not going to do it just quite yet, but we will come back to her later on. Afterwards, you can go ahead and move on forward to the next path, where we're going to go down the spiral stairway. There is an item over here. I think it's a monastery charm. Not exactly sure what that does. You can pick it up if you'd like to. But then in here is going to be one of those old knights with the ultra great swords. It's a little bit of a harder fight because it is like a real small environment, but you should be able to take them out easily. And then you can go ahead and pick yourself up the human effigy and some torches. Also a Soul of a Proud Knight, and the old Knight Halberd, which is one of the old knight weapons that you can get. Honestly, it's a cool looking weapon, but it's not that good in the long run. Then go ahead and continue on forward down these steps and into whatever this area is. I don't know, it's like some type of sewer or something. Now there is actually a really good item that can easily be missed by taking a left. We're going to go ahead and fight another one of these Scion Knights, which again can be a little bit harder because they do have a lot of health. That shield is 100% protection, and they're just really beefy and can do a lot of damage. But super easily backstabbable. Not hard at all, and if you get lucky and get some of their armor, it's actually really good armor for the beginning of the game. And then we shall be able to pick up what's hiding in this chest, which is going to be a Sublime Bone Dust, which you could then take back to Majula, sit down at the bonfire, and burn this to increase your Estus flask and make it so that you get more health back upon drinking it. And then go on forward, take a ride over here, and jump on another super freaking slow elevator. And we're pretty much at the end of the Heide's Tower of Flame. This area over here, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I guess it just serves as the connecting area to the next level. and there's just gonna be a bunch of little guys here, these little soldiers in a bunch of water, making it so that, so what happens is the water in this area makes it so that you move a lot slower, and it gives us the challenge of this area, but it's not enough enemies to really be that challenging. Over here they are gonna have a basilisk, which you can dispose of by just throwing throw knives at it. He does spew that little, I don't know, what is it, like, not poison, I don't know what it is, that dust that turns you into stone and curses you. Like this guy. That's what happened to this guy. So this guy's going to be blocking our way. We need a fragrant branch of yore. And behind this guy is actually another really good item. But we don't have a fragrant branch of yore. So we're just going to go ahead and move on. Take a right. And move on to the next area. And that's it. We're done with Heid's Tower of Flame. And now you can go back to Majula and spend all that sweet XP we picked up. Alright, so back at Majula, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and sit down at the bonfire and burn the Sublime Bone Dust, which is going to level up the amount of HP we get back when using the Estus Flask. And adding to that, there is another mechanic which you could do, and you could burn a human effigy. This makes it so that for 30 minutes you won't get invaded. So if you're getting invaded a lot, go ahead and burn one of those. That should nullify it for a little bit at least. And now we get to level up. So go ahead and go 19 vigor so we can go ahead and take more hits and give more back. And then go ahead and, I don't know, like I said, what I like to do, go to Licia and buy up some more life gems. I do love me those life gems, and ultimately it's what makes this game super easy, so do that. And that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. So if you guys have been enjoying the series, remember to smack the like button, subscribe to the channel for more content. And if you're still here, well then you are awesome. And I'm going to be showing you a couple things that I didn't touch up on. Like there is another lever that pops up here once you defeat that giant sword wielding old knight, which will increase the arena for the Dragonrider even further and make it even easier. I think it's unnecessary, but if you are struggling with it, then go ahead and do this. There's another thing I did wind up doing is coming back to the Heid Tower of Flame and farming out all the Heid Knights because I really want the armor set. I had the shield equipped and the hat, which both increase item discoverability, but even then it was super hard. I wound up farming out the old knight and both of the Heid Knights to the point that they would no longer respawn, and I really didn't end up getting too much except for like 2 of their leggings. Oh, I did end up getting their weapons, both the straight sword and the spear, which are actually pretty good weapons, but ultimately that was all I could muster, which is fine. I did end up acquiring like 35,000 souls, which I could have used to level up like 6 levels, but ultimately, excuse me, sorry about that, ultimately I decided not to go with that and instead went and go ahead and bought a lot of equipment for later on in the video, you know, to switch things up and make things fun. So I wound up buying a lot of Titanite shards in order, or the rest of the Titanite shards that these blacksmiths sold, just so that I could add more options later on. And I wound up buying both the S-Stock and the Rapier, which if you know, then you know. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Also did go ahead and come over through the homie's cribbo and started buying up some more of his inventory so that it can be expanded upon later. I bought the kite, the silver kite shield, which is a pretty decent shield. The tower shield, which although has a cool design, I'm not too big of a fan, as I feel like it's just a little too heavy. The Falconer armor, which is a solid armor set. And all of this just so that I could access the rest of his stuff a little bit later. And I did end up going to Licia, buying up more life gems, and yes, buying that friggin' branch of yore, which is gonna come handy pretty soon actually. And yeah, you know, just as a different way of spending souls, just so that you go, guys, you don't always have to spend it on leveling up or worry so much on leveling up. Like, there's other things you could do with souls, man. It's not all about leveling up. Leveling up isn't really everything in this game. And yeah. So after resetting the bonfire, I did come back to Broski to make sure that his inventory did expand, which it did, and now we have access to the Elite Knight set, a very clean, very nice looking set, which I couldn't buy because I was out of souls, but nevertheless, we'll probably end up buying it. But I think that's gonna do it. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.